everybody. So today is Monday, and that means it's time for family movie night. And I just didn't see how this is the week of the new Star Wars movie, Force Awakens, how I could do anything but Star Wars. I'm definitely going to be breaking my normal rules for this series because typically I like to have films that you can stream on Netflix. With Star Wars, it gets a little bit more complicated. You can stream the films, the Star Wars original trilogy films and the prequels on the various streaming sites, Vudu, Amazon, things like that, but you do have to pay. It's not part of Netflix. But I just feel like I had to talk about them because it's Star Wars week. It's this week. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about Star Wars Rebels, which is a really great show that is on the Disney Channel. So I did a longer podcasts about each of the 6 Star Wars films, the prequels and the original trilogy, and with my friends Jeremy and Abby, and I think they turned out really well. And they're more like a podcast where we talk for an hour. We really dissect it. We ask questions, and it was really fun. And so if you're a Star Wars fan, I'll put a link down to that playlist, and I really encourage you to check it out. I'd love to have your feedback. So let's talk all things Star Wars for a second. I'm going to go in chronological order. First we have The Phantom Menace. I just have this on VHS because I never wanted to get it on Blu-ray or DVD because I'm not that big a fan. It's very slow. It doesn't have a whole lot of point or purpose to what's going on. Things like the pod race could be completely eliminated. They don't really matter. The acting really isn't very good, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have any value. You have the lightsaber fight with Darth Maul. Darth Maul's a pretty cool character. It's a little more acrobatic than I remembered. Watching just to kind of see the beginning of the story. But Jar Jar's really annoying. I don't know. It's not very good, but that's Phantom Menace for you. Okay, then we have Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones is my least favorite of the Star Wars films. It has the horrible romantic relationship between Padme and Anakin Skywalker, and he's a Jedi, so he's not supposed to love, but they fall in love in a completely unbelievable way with really horrible romantic dialogue. But there are some good things about Attack of the Clones. You have a pretty awesome fight scene between all the Jedis and the Stormtroopers. A lot of people like the fight of Yoda with the lightsaber, but I do not. Yoda doesn't need a lightsaber. He even says in The Emperor Strikes Back that the Force is his ally, and he does not need these weapons. So we have Revenge of the Sith, and this is the best of the prequels. It's still kind of It's not my favorite. It's kind of forgettable, I think, but it has a pretty good lightsaber fight at the end between Obi-Wan and Anakin. It's a little cheesy looking with the lava and everything, but it works. And kind of cool to see how Anakin became a Darth Vader as far as getting the suit and getting all burned in the lava and everything, and there's less of the romantic dialogue. There's almost no Jar Jar in this one, which is a good thing. He's only briefly seen, so that's good. And it's just a little bit less cringeworthy. There's sort of more momentum, and you're kind of leading to this sort of tragic end. I think there's one too many villains in this. I definitely didn't think you needed General Grievous. I didn't wish that we had gotten more between Obi-Wan and Anakin. You really felt like they really were friends, and this was devastating. And but the Ian McDiarmid playing Palpatine is pretty good as he resorts into this madness and becomes the Emperor and turns the Republic into the Galactic Empire. We're starting to the good ones. And I have these VHS. I know you might think that's crazy, but these are originals. I also have them on DVD, but they're not quite as good of versions as actually as these. These are the original theatrical editions. You can get them. They're $19.95. The DVDs you can get, but they are 2000. Make sure you get the 2006 DVDs. The theatrical editions are available on those DVDs, and they are in the bonus section. You can watch the theatrical. So to me, that's really important. I don't want to watch the special editions. Start with the first one. This is Star Wars, and this is, of course, the one that started it all, introduced us to all these characters. We get to see Luke, and of course he starts out as sort of a whiny little kid, but it's a character arc. We get to see him grow and change and learn. There we get introduced to Han Solo, who's such a wonderful character and is so funny, and it's just such a a tough guy, and we love him. Smart aleck, you'd say. We get introduced to Leia, and she's not the greatest acting in the world, but it's nice after Padme to have like a woman that's at least somewhat strong. There's lots of comedic relief between C-3PO and R2-D2 that's not as cringeworthy as Jar Jar. It's a lot of fun. We get some pretty good special effects for the time. They were noteworthy, and they think they still look pretty good. And we get introduced to Darth Vader. So all of that, and then our ending when we get to see Obi-Wan facing off against Darth Vader and sort of his sacrifice, and then also we get to see the Death Star taken on by the rebels, and that's really, really exciting. And I just think it has great momentum. It's really well paced, so at the end you're cheering, you're really excited, and it's just such a great world. And to me, the first one is the most entertaining of the trilogy. And up we have The Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back was directed by Irving Kershner, who was a professor of George Lucas. And you can definitely see like a little bit grittier of a style. It's definitely a darker feel to the picture. It might not be appropriate for small children. It just depends. But in this one, you've got the rebels hiding out on the ice planet Hoth, and you really see the growth between Han and Leia and Luke and how they have become great friends. And Han even goes out to find his friend at peril to his life. And you see it all building up to them confronting Vader at Cloud City, where they meet Lando Calrissian, and Harrison Ford gets frozen in carbonite, and Luke confronts Vader for the first time. And it's just so well paced, it's so exciting, it's so emotional, and you also get to meet Yoda, who's a great character, and it's so well written. Lawrence Kasdan was involved with the writing, and so it's the best written, I think, of the series, and I think it's the best directed of the series as well. It has one of the best reveals in all of movies. Okay, then we have Return of the Jedi. And Return of the Jedi has a really different feel of the rest of the films. When Lucas first started, he wanted to pay homage to the serials, the space serials that he grew up watching, and kind of campy B-type movies. And this is the one where you really see that, I think, the most in Return of the Jedi. In the beginning, they are trying to rescue Han from being frozen in carbonite at Jabba the Hutt, and you face two different monsters in that scene. It really feels sort of like a monster movie. It feels almost more like Brendan Fraser's Mummy. That first 40 minutes, some of that drags a little bit for me, but I still think it's sort of fun to see all of our characters involved. We see Luke, we see Lando, we see Han, Leia, C-3PO, R2-D2's there, and Boba Fett is there. So there's all these characters, and they're all just trying to rescue Han, and they all face various peril. And then the movie divides into three different segments. You have Luke going to confront Vader. You have Han, Leia, C-3PO, and R2-D2 going to Endor to try to deactivate the shield that's protecting the new Death Star. And that's when they meet the Ewoks. You have Lando and his crew that are all trying to defeat the Death Star once the shield gets deactivated. It has a really great space battle between Lando, the Rebels, and the Empire. You have great emotion between the scenes between Luke and Vader and the Emperor, and especially the way that the Emperor is able to manipulate Luke and be able to manipulate his anger is really, really great. And you really see Luke having matured at this point, and it's just a great movie. Even if it's maybe the lesser of the three original trilogies, it's still really, really good. So that is the Star Wars movies. There's also Clone Wars, a TV show. I have not watched that one yet, and that one is after episode 2, and I definitely want to watch that. I just haven't had time. And then there is a show called Star Wars Rebels, and this show is 14 years after Revenge of the Sith, and it's a really, really good show. I highly recommend it. There's a group of rebels that have all gathered together for this ship called the Ghost Ship. The two female characters, then Sabine and Hera. Then you have Ezra, who is a kind of more sort of conflicted. He's lost his parents. He's a little bit bitter, but also a little bit quick to make choices and defend his friends. And so he's a really great character. You have Kanan, who is sort of the wise one of the group. He's the Jedi, or at least Jedi in training. And then you have Zeb. Zeb is kind of a gruff talking character. He's I'm not sure what his race is, but anyway, he's a different kind of character. And the animation is really wonderful. It looks really good. Dave Filoni, the series creator, has done a really good job of like building up a story, building up tension. Yes, it is on Disney XD, so definitely childlike elements, and it doesn't get too scary, it doesn't get too deep, but it does. They managed to do a lot with the time that they have and the ability that they have, and it's just really exciting to get to know sort of more of this world and some new characters, and occasionally get to see characters from the original trilogy, including Vader, and you hear talk of the Emperor, things like that. And they just finished the mid-season second finale, so I really recommend it. I think it's a very, very, very well written. It's well voiced. It's got good animation, and so if you're a Star Wars fan, check out Star Wars Rebels. So that is the 6 of the Star Wars films, and now we're getting into Force Awakens, and I'm so excited. Are you excited? What are you looking forward to about the film? Do you think it'll be good? And put in the comments section, let me know. And thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later.